Yeah, it's all about finances today. Crunching the numbers of exactly what a prut is. Anyways, Baruch Hashem, it's a Friday. Brazil says that it's a prut, right? You go with pruta. Sorry, Yosef, pruta koldu. Rav Yosef thought, yeah, a pruta is anything, meaning whatever it is. Rashi says basically what the Federal Reserve does and is cooking the books. Basically, what's worth a pruta, what's not worth a pruta. It's a variable. It's a meaning. Is a pruta just a piece? Like sort of we did this yesterday's stuff. Is a pruta just a certain amount of coinage, regardless of what it's actually worth, or do we judge it based on the open markets and see how much a pruta is? How much is the dollar worth versus the shekel, and how much is the pound worth? All that type of stuff. So Rabbi Yosef thought pruta is koldu. It could be even a koldu, meaning it goes with what a pruta is worth right now. It's an eighth of an Isra Talpi. So you see, it's a fixed amount. It doesn't fluctuate, right? So and
maybe an Italian Isra never fluctuates.
I was hoping nobody would ask that.
Sorry.
Does an Italian Isser fluctuate? I don't know. No, I think what it means is it's based on the weight of an Italian. What is it called? Italian, right? Italian. Yeah. I think that's a pshat. Yeah, it means it's a. I mean, I don't know what. I guess if in Italy they change the size of the coins, then you're right, David. But right now he's saying it's an eighth of the weight of that type of coin. So then that's only in the Dor of Moshe, meaning you're supposed to do it. How much a pruta was worth in Moshe Rabbeinu's times, Aval Hacha, but our Mishnah is Kedachashvalula Inchi. Is what people are making, what people consider it. Reb Simai made an evaluation of how much a pruta is, and he said Echad Mishmaina be'Isra Talki, 1/8 of Isra Talki. B'chi also Ravin Amar, and Ravin came and said Amar Rav Dustay Rav Yani Rav Ashi Yeshiru Kama Havi Pruta Echad Mishisha be'Isra Talki. They said it's 1/6. Right. So you see that it's an actual thing. It's not just what was going on by Moshe Rabbeinu. So Rabbi Yosef, I know the Tanina, Kama Prutus B'Shnei Slayim. If you go calculate how many Prutus there are in 2 Slayim, Yosef Me'alpayim, there's more than 2,000 Prutus and 2 Slayim. Right? Hashta Alpayim Lehavian. If 2,000 there isn't, Yosef Me'alpayim Karilu. Meaning, according to this cheshbon, with 1/8, however the numbers crunch, then it's not 2,000 prutas and 2 sela. It's way less. So how are you calling it more than 2,000? So Saba? So that Saba said, I didn't learn it. I didn't have a girsa that it's more than 2,000. I had a girsa that it's less than 2,000. Alpha v'chamish meo tlasim meshisa hudavin. It's only 1,536 prutas. Right? So that's not korev. You says it's close to 2,000. Even according to this new version, it's not more than 2,000. He says it's close to 2,000. 1,536 is not prutas. Is not close to 2,000. You're almost 500. It's almost 25% off. Right? So Gemara answers, no, keeping the nafkalumi palga karala fayim karilay. A wild for religion that bases itself on being exact. Calling something 1536 and saying it's carved to 2,000 is a stretch, right? But that's the way the Gemara wants to say it, right?
Try to buy something for $536 and then round it up to 1,000.
Basically, if somebody you want to look chashuv, right? You want to say, oh, how much did you buy your beef jerky for? close to $1,000. It could be $501. You could say close to $1,000. That's what the Gemara says.
That's how the stores by us set their prices.
That's what the stores do.
That's what the tzedakah campaigns also do. 3 times the amount.
Guess. Right. Or the matching programs, right? The matching programs. I don't know. Okay, whatever. But anyway, so that's what the Gemara is saying. So that's called karev. Once you're out from the 1500s, then you're karev. Do I keep glitching out? Am I glitching out?
No.
Oh, fine.
No, you're good.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Gufa. So then Gufa. Kiyasar Avdimi Omar Shir Rav Simai B'Dairei Kami Pruta Echad Mishmayna B'Isra Taki 1/8. Kiyasar Rabban Omar Shir Rav Dustay Rav Yaniv Rav Aishir Kami Pruta Echad Mishisha B'Isra Taki. Fine. So Amalei Abai Ravdimi Neima At Rabban Beplukta Dani Tanai Kami Flugisu. You're having the same machlekes as this other machlekes. Tanya Pruta Shamru Chachamim Echad Mishmayna B'Isra Taki. It's 1/8 of an Isra Taki. Sheish Ma Kesef Dinar. There's 6 ma to a dinar. Ma shnei punyan, and a ma is 2 punyan. Punyan shnei isrin. A punyan is 2 isrim. Isr is shnei mus misim. Mus misim, right? Yeah, it's a mil. Yeah. Mismes is shnei kuntrikon. Kuntrik shtei kuntarnek. I'm sorry, shtei prutas. Nimtza pruta achas mishmane bisr talgi. Yeah. Right, so therefore it comes out from all those numbers that it's 1/8 of Isra Taki. From Shimon Gamliel Omer, Shloisha Hadrasin Lama. There are 3 hadras to a ma. Shnei Hanatzin lahadras, 2 Hanatzin to hadras. Shnei Shmonin lahanitz. Beis Prutas lashamin. Nimtza Prutachas Mishisha Isra Taki. So it's 1/6. So the same machlokes we had before. Before we had a machlokes whether Pruta is 1/8 of an Isra Taki, or whether it's 1/6, and now we say it's a machlokes Tanoim. So Lema Damaro Makatana Kama. The first man Damar says it's like the Tanakama is 1/8. Rabban Damar can Rav Shimon Gamliel. Rabban says like Rav Shimon Gamliel. So Armalei says Bain Didiu Bain Rabban Aliba the Tanakama. Both me and Rabban, we both go like the Tanakama. Like Kasha Hadi Yakir Isure. One is talking about where the Isser went up. The value of an Isser went up. Hadazol Isure. One is talking about where the value of an Isser went down. When it goes up, so then it's an Isser is 24 zuz. When it goes down, so then it's 32 zuz to a 32 Isser. 32 Isser 2 zuz. Fine. That's the hard part of the daf. Yeah, meaning okay, these are the numbers, how you crunch it, exactly how much a shava pruta is worth. Fine. Amar Shmuel. Now back to more standard stuff.
Why are we touching everything to an Italian Isser and saying?
I think it's just a weight
thing. Before that?
No, it's just trying to tell you how much of how much
silver.
Weight. Yeah, how much silver or whatever. Yeah.
But we're tying it to a coin. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we're trying to figure out. They're trying to figure out, okay, how much a bottom line is, how much money do I got to give this lady in order to marry her? Right. So they're trying to calculate it versus that whole, the weight.
And what does that translate to us?
We basically, from what I understand, most places can say it's a nickel. Some say it's a dime. There are those that go a little.
Try to give your wife a nickel to marry her.
Well, you're a Beis Shammai guy. That's all. You're a Beis Shammai guy. That was yesterday's stuff, right? They're not going to take less. Yeah. Okay, so Amar Shmuel, Kitcha Betimra. Shmuel has a Gevaldige Chumra. All right, it's both a Chumra and a Kula, but a Gevaldige Shita. Yeah? So Amar Shmuel, Kitcha Betimra. Let's say a guy is Mekadesh's wife with a date. See that? You go on a date, Mekadesh with a date, romance all around. Yeah? Afilu Aimid Bekur Tamarim Bedinar. Even if you can buy an entire kur of dates with a dinar, which means that a date is very cheap. Meaning, and it's less than a shava pruta, this date, mikudeshes. Why? We're chashin she's married. Why? Chashin and shema shava pruta b'mada, because we're afraid, well, that's very nice, that the date prices came down so low over here. But maybe in Madai, a date is worth more than a Shava Pruta. We have to be choshev for that. It's a big chiddush that Shmuel's saying. Right here, right now, it's not worth a Shava Pruta. But we have to be choshev that in Madai, it is worth a Shava Pruta. What's the problem about?
This what the obvious problem is. When they're on 18th Avenue in Borough Park, who cares what it's doing in Madai? What?
Right, that's the chiddush. That's exactly the chiddush. Meaning, and not only that, the way Rashi says it, Madai, because we're afraid there's a shortage of dates. So you're going to go say that we're choshev for the kedushin because there's a city in the world that there might be a date shortage, right? Yeah, it's a big chiddush. It's a big chiddush. Yeah, and then what comes out.
Remember
Yeah.
when I don't remember what coin it was. There was certain very cheap coins from a country in South America that was the exact same size as a quarter. So you could buy those for whatever penny, and you could put them use them for phone calls and use them for the car meters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a kufa like that. Somebody found it and they spread like wildfire.
Yeah, so that's a type of that's a similar thing. But anyways, that's Shmuel's chiddush. So it comes out that you're knocking out. That means every kedushin is a kosher kedushin according to this, right? What are you going to say? You're going to give somebody a nickel? You say, "Oh, a nickel can't buy you anything." Okay, but in Africa, maybe it does buy you something. So basically, what Shmuel's din is making is that there's no such thing as a minimum amount of kedushin because you have to be worried about anywhere in the world this thing being worth something, not money. The actual pruta you got to give a pruta, but if you give anything else, right? You give you mekadosh or anything else, you have to be choshev that somewhere in the world it's worth a pruta. So you're knocking out the whole shava pruta din of Beis Hillel. That's essentially what Shmuel just did, right? So the Gemara says that's exactly what kasha. But not Beis Hillel, I'm pruta over shava pruta. You can be mekadosh and isha with the pruta and a shava pruta. Now, if you a shava pruta, if it's less than a shava pruta, according to Shmuel, you have to be choshev that right here it's not worth a shava pruta, but in another place in the world it is a shava pruta. So Gemara says like kasha, it's not a kasha. Habi kedushe vadai, habi kedushe safek. Meaning when it's worth a pruta right here in this town, the date is worth a pruta, so it's vadai kedusha. If it's not worth a pruta here, then this that Shmuel is saying that it's a kedushin mi safek. It's not a kedushin mi vadai. So therefore, if she goes and marries another man, she's going to need a get from both, because we don't know whether the first guy's kedushin was a kedushin. Right? Fine. So Ahu Gavra. Then the Gemara says a couple of similar stories. The Akdish bezavda the Ardi. He was makdisha with like a zavda. Really is a suitcase. It's a pile of a bundle of meichin, soft things like how do you call it? Feathers or something like along those lines. So Yosef Rav Simi Bachia, but he went and he looked at it. He is Shava Pruta in Eloi Loi. He went to see if there's a Shava Pruta and it good, if not. Right? So the Gemara asks, Shava Pruta Loi, Shmuel Chashinon. What's he looking for? Even if it's less than a Shava Pruta, according to Shmuel, we have to be chashid that you might be able to sell this bundle of feathers someplace else in the world.
Shouldn't you be checking before?
What?
Shouldn't we be checking before to make sure that it's worth the Shava Pruta?
Yeah, so then this guy just decided to do it on his own. Then he went to the rabbi and he tried to ask him if it's a good kedushin.
Really, it should be checked before to make sure.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Okay.
Well, that's what the Masada Kedushin does with the ring, right?
Well, it's putting him on the spot there, because if it's not, it's a big problem.
Yes, it'll be a big busha. Yes,
you should be finding out before.
That's true. I guess the assumption is that most rings are a Shava Pruta.
David,
Well, I'm saying you're not really giving them a nickel.
Correct.
David, you should give all the Masada Kedushins in the neighborhood, give them like 5 or 6 of your grapes to keep in their pocket by chasanas, and always have a Shava Pruta if there's a problem with the ring.
Yeah. You should be a guy in charge of doing this, right? Okay, but Lamaisa, everything's a Shava Pruta. Whatever, that's the Gemara's kasha. One is like kasha, Kedusha Vada, Kedusha Safik. One is talking about Kedusha Vada. One is talking about Kedusha Safik. Yeah. Ahu Gavra, the Akdish. Now we get into a more interesting story. Ahu Gavra, the Akdish, Ba'avna the Kukla. He was Makadash, a woman with a blue stone. Now, this is obviously before Tosfos that we saw Daf Tes that said that the minig is not to be mekadosh with a stone, right? This is before that time, because otherwise the minig is not to do it, right? But he did it. So Rav Chisda was trying to figure it out.
Somebody else.
Huh?
Mekadesh to somebody else.
What do you mean to be mekadosh?
Rashi says the story of
What do you mean? Rashi.
she accepts the kedusha.
Probably that's the whole shiloh with the stuff of kedusha.
She would accept it.
Correct. Yeah, I have my brother-in-law. I should have him take over the daf. Really, I should have him take it over. All right, he doesn't want it.
Taisus there brings this Avna de Kuchla, no?
Taisus what?
Taisus brings the Avna de Kuchla. He says Avna de Kuchla is not a precious stone. It's a semi-precious stone or whatever.
Yeah, but didn't he come out anyways that we're not supposed to be mekadosh with it, right? With it, right?
I don't think. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so what happened here? Why was Rav Chisda looking into it? Which David really answers your kasha from before. So Rashi, right at the bottom of Rashi says that the reason why he was looking into it is because somebody else was mekadosh her. Right, like we said before, but what's the whole thing with kedusha v'ad kedusha sabik? If another guy comes along and is mekadosh her, so if she was mekudesh to the first one, so then the second one is no good. If the first kedusha was no good, then the second one is good. So it's a whole shiloh who she's married to.
Yeah, no, it says so.
Why is she accepting this? Why is she accepting it if she was already accepted kedushin from somebody else?
Maybe she thought it wasn't worth it. No. Maybe she thought, this guy gave me a stone. Well, that way I have to see him with bays if she takes it anyways. So let's see. So anyways, where do we leave off? Right. So Rav Chisda was looking to see if this black, whatever, this blue thing was worth anything or not. So Gemara says if there's no shavar puta, it's not a marriage. Shmuel says you have to be chayshid that's somewhere in the world. So Rav Chisda lo savar the Shmuel. Rav Chisda does not hold of Shmuel. Right? He's chaylik on his din. Right? This I don't know what it is. This chumra Shmuel or this.
Say here, kedusha about it.
Taisus says, I don't know. Right. Because, yeah, right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's true. Anyways, so Rav Chisda let's start with the Shmuel. So Amrulay Ime, so the mother, now the mother's involved. You know you're in trouble. You know you're in trouble if the mother's involved. Right? So Amrulay Ime, Vod Vahu Yaima, the Hu Yami the Kibsha have a Shava Pruta. So he must have decided Rav Chisda that it was not worth a Shava Pruta. Right? Comes along the mother, she sees that her son lost the shidduch. Right, the second guy was able to marry him. The second guy was able to marry him. So she's getting well. She said, "What do you mean? When they got married, it was worth more." Amar Los, he said, "You don't have the nemanos. You can't aser her on the second guy, meaning the mother, even if she's right, but we don't know. How are we supposed to know? We're not going to do this based on what she says. Yeah, so Mamela, she can't do it.
Why is this considered an edus?
Why is this considered an edus? I don't know if it's considered an edus.
She's just being megala what was.
Right, so we're not going to trust her. We're not going to trust her.
Why is this a nemanos issue?
I don't think it's a nemanos issue. It's just the reason why it's a nemanos issue is if it was just a marriage, if it was just a standard case, we're trying to figure out if the guy's married, so maybe she would be believed. But here we're talking about where she's answering a second guy. I mean, it's not just one couple that's affected here; it's two couples. She's mixing a different marriage.
Isn't that
so that's a different kasha.
Definition of marriage?
Well, if you don't, and how about what's the other kasha? There's another kasha here. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so that's the kind. She's not believed. So on the base now. So Lav Hainu, the Yehudis, the Visu the Rav Chia. This is a wild story. We had this in Yevamos, part of it in Yevamos. Right, Yehudis, Rav Chia's wife. Yeah. So the Habis Tsar later. She had Tsar later. She had a lot of pain when having a baby. Yeah. Amrullah, so now she didn't want to have kids anymore. Right? So that was a story in Yevamos where she took the Kaishal Ikrim to make herself sterile. Right? So Amrullah, she said to her husband, Amrullah, aim, my mother told me, Kibul Bech Avuch Kidushi Kizutrus, that my mother told me that my father was Makabel Kedushin when I was younger. So really, I'm an Ashes Ish. And therefore, she's no longer allowed to be married to her husband. Right? You know what happened? What happened here? She had such tsar later. She did not want to have any more kids. So she says, my mother told me, by the way, that we can't stay married anymore because my father married me off when I was a little kid.
She's making her own kids mamzerim?
Yeah. Yes. That's
You're right. Rabbi Yaakov Ador is not that bad.
yeah. Then we're gonna see Taka, we're gonna see that at the bottom of the Amud, that our door is not so bad. Yeah, that's actually a I don't know if it's a Taisus or one of the other Mishanim.
I thought that they can't become mamzerim after the fact. They have to already have their chesed kashrus. So this wouldn't affect them.
Their mother's saying they're mamzerim.
No, the mother is making up a Maisa, but we don't believe her. We can believe
that's
her
gonna be the
from
next line
today
of the
and
Gemara.
on, but not from in the past.
That's the next line. That's the next line of the Gemara. Let's see. Right, you're right, Aaron. You're right. So Amar Allah, he said to her, Lav kol kamine, de'imach ta'asrus le'ilavai. Your mother is not neman to asa me onto you. Right? Right, so there's no neman. So everybody's saying this Maisa Ramosha Feinstein by the chuppah. You know this Maisa?
It was Rabbi Eli Stefanski who said it.
There's a famous Maisa, but yeah, Stefanski said it
Rabbi
over.
Stefanski said.
Yeah, he said over the Maisa. Of course, people sent me the clip. David, how come you didn't send it to me?
I just sent it to you now. I just sent it to you now.
Anyways, it's a famous Maisa of Ramosha that the mother under the chuppah told Ramosha, by the way, she's a mamzeres because I was married to somebody else that didn't have a get or whatever it was. And Ramosha just blew the whole thing up and just was Masada Kedushin. That's all very nice. You can't just paskin like that. Just, I mean, it's not, because all these people, they say they hear these stories, and the lady said she was Mazana, and everybody says, yeah, Ramosha's Maisa, no, that's it, we don't believe it. Don't just.
Like
What?
They just sent out the Ramnata had a Maisa like that.
Yeah, listen, you could be Ramnata. You can't just say that, oh yeah, we're not gonna believe her. Right?
He came out, he said that the mother's Kedushin wasn't Chal or something because the Rav himself, who was Masada, was episode 8 on it.
Right, that was a different Maisa Ramnata but he passed the Kedushin. There was the Kedushin was Taka Pasal. Here it's because we just don't believe the mother. Right? Yeah, okay, so there's a whole tumult in the Rishonim exactly why it had to be, why you need to bring a raya to himself that from this, etc. So okay, whatever it is, it's late already. But fine. So the point is that she was not believed. So Amri Lei Rabbanan the Rapista, yeah, Amai or Ikasadi the Idius. We know that we have to see the Taisus. So let's just get the pshat. So there's Adam and Idius, the Yadi Bahu Yom Bahaba Be Shavapruta, that they know that day that this stone was taka worth a Shavapruta. Good. So we're not going to believe the mother that it was worth a Shavapruta, but we know that there's Adam somewhere in the world who do know that this stone was worth a Shavapruta, and the first couple should be married. Right? So the Gemara answers, Hashtamiya, let's come on, they're not here. The Adam are not here. So since they're not here, then we don't cheshbon them. Now Tosfos says that it doesn't mean that stam random that we say, oh, there must be Adam somewhere in the world that know what this rock was worth a Shabbat Pruta. That's not what the Gemara is. There was a call. Right? I think that's a lesson to hold on. Yeah, Yotza call, right? The Re says that there was a call that there were Adam, and then they left, right? Meaning, Stamazai, we're not going to be choshed that there were Adam in the world somewhere that knew about the worth of this stone. That we're not doing. Haven't doing. There was a call here, and anyways, even so, he doesn't believe them. So the Gemara says, "Lav hainu du Rav Chanina, Dam Rav Chanina, Eidel b'tzad istan." There's Adam in the b'tzad istan is in the north. Teyasa, and she's going to be also to a kind. This is talking about the Gemara Ksuvas, where the women came and said they were captured. Now the assumption is when a woman is captured, the goyim are going to be mizana with them, and in which case they're now puzzled to kahuna because they were together with a goy. So these ladies came and said we were captured, but they were not honest. So the shaila was, do we believe them or not? So he had asked them because Rav Chanina asked them because there are Adam out there that saw them get captured. Meaning the only tzad that they should be believed is because they're the ones that made themselves author. So they're believed to say that they were not. Meaning if had they not opened up their mouth in the first place, they would have been totally believed. I mean, to believe there's nothing to talk about.
This
right?
was women or one woman?
It was a few women. No, it was a bunch of women, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Shmuel's daughter, right? It was Shmuel's daughters, right? Shmuel's daughters. Yeah. So anyway, but he said since there are Adam, so once there are Adam, then they're not believed. All right, Abai and Rava didn't hold Rav Chisda, meaning because of Adam in the what do you call it? In the faraway land. Yeah. Because hikilu b'shvuya, if you make a by a shvuya, then nafsho gabi shvay. So he's saying an interesting lumdus here. He's saying that by a shvuya, what is a woman who gets captured? So what's she going to do? She's going to make herself look ugly, so that hopefully these guys won't be attracted to her, right? So Mamela, there's episode sad that maybe they made it that the guys are not being honest. But Nego Beishas Ish, should we stop being Nego and Ace shit?
Is there a chazak that the goyim are menuvolim? Chazaka, isn't there a chazaka?
It's a chazaka? I don't think it's a chazaka.
Yeah, it's not a chazaka.
I don't think so. Didn't we have at the end of Gittin where we said that it was at the end of Gittin where we said that they'll touch them, but they're not actually going to be honest them?
I don't know.
No? We had that. So how does that fit with this Gemara? Or with all these Gemaras, how does it fit? Right? I don't know. I don't remember. Either way, so he's saying this, meaning the way Abai and Rav are saying it is you have to, if you're going to start using these types of calculations, you have to calculate what is there more of a chance, less of a chance of what these women are saying is that it's true or that it's not true. He's saying, so we're make up by a shvuya because we hope they made themselves disgusting. But does that mean we're going to be make up by Ashes Ish to say that there's Adam that there's Adam or there aren't Adam in a faraway land that have to know exactly how much it's worth? That we're not going to do. Fine. So that family, right? So Rav Chisda Paskin, that's the okay. The Rav Chisda Paskin that you could marry them, whatever. They went with the second wife because the first wife was not married, and Upasha Rabbanan Mina, and nobody in the Rabbanan stayed away from them. Not because they held of Shmuel, right? That he held that we're afraid that it's worth a Shabbat Pruta in Madai, not because of that. Because they were held like Abai and Rava. That you do have to be choshed that there are Adam somewhere that know about this din, right? Okay, so they stayed away from it. That was the problem with that Kedusha Bita, that Bita Katana story, right? Nobody wanted to marry her. I don't know what happened then with that. Or was it the Ramesha, the girl that Ramesha was making with the IVF? I don't remember. There was, I think, I don't know, I'm mixing up stories. Whatever, people, just because you get a heter from the Rabbana, don't mean that people are going to want to marry you. That's essentially what we're saying here. Fine.
No,
Gavra,
it's Rabbi Ramenik, the story. That one you told me.
I'm not sure which story they were having a hard time finding it.
Somebody said I married off my daughter, Rabbi Ramenik. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's the Bita Katana story with Rabbi Ramenik. Yeah. Okay. Hahu Gavra da'aktish b'shatisa da'asa b'shuka. There was a guy who was Makadesh and Isha with a shatisa da'asa, a piece of hadas, in the shuk. So he got married there in the street with one hadas. Shalcha Ravacha Barhuna l'kamei Rav Yosef. He got him and he asked him, "What's the story here? Are they married or not?" Shalach lei. So he sent him Nagdei Karav. We got to give him Malkus like Rav, right? Rav held you have to give him Malkus. It's Giflik Shmuel, and we have to be concerned that this thing was worth a pruta like Shmuel, meaning even somewhere else in the world, and Mamela that we have to be choshesh that they're married. So we're giving him Malkus, and we're giving him Malkus.
Giving him Malkus for? Maybe it was Reb Chaim's Hadas, and this guy paid $10,000 for the other Hadas.
That's not they're not giving that's not why they're giving the Malkus. They're giving Malkus because you shouldn't have got married in the streets.
Oh. What do you mean? We get married in the street. You're supposed to get married in the street. You know?
So that's one of the questions. So what is that?
I went to a wedding this week. It was on the beach, mamish on the sand, on the beach.
Weddings on the beach happen almost every day, but on the street,
what's it?
My father got married.
A wedding on the beach is better than a wedding on the street.
Okay, I understand. Who since when you can't get married in the street? You're supposed to get married outside. What does that? What does that mean?
That's the reason. Taka? My brother was sitting here, and he says that one of the reasons why the Yakis turn around, they could put a talus over the chas and kala and they face away from the oilam, is not so that they shouldn't be. I never heard that. That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
Reason for the shuk is preachers.
So what? What did you say? You didn't finish the story from your brother.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. That's why they turn around. So that they shouldn't get married.
That's why. What's the that's why? I don't know what you're saying. You know,
that's
because they shouldn't get married in the shuk.
Privacy.
They shouldn't get married in the shuk. So they're not getting married in the shuk because they're under a talus, facing away from everybody. What's
I hate to tell your brother-in-law, I've been by chasanas in the street. I mean, I don't understand.
And a chanami, but not by the yakas.
The yakis also eat ice cream after supper, so who cares?
Anyway, true, but that
don't be jealous.
I could be jealous.
Anyway, so okay, let's see why this is ending. So that's an interesting thing. So he's getting Malkus, but we have to be chayshah like Shmuel that the Hadat is worth it. Now, what's going on with this? The Rav would give Malkus al the Makadesh B'Shukah, and somebody who's Makadesh B'Shukah. Why? Because of Pritzes. It's Pritzes to get married in the Shuk. Yeah? Does that have to do with also Achila B'Shuk? Yeah? I'm not sure exactly why it's Pritzes in the Shuk. But okay. The Makadesh B'Biyah, he also didn't like that. Tosfos says it's the reason why there's that's Pritzes because you need Eidim, right? You need Eidim, so now that has to be some form of Pritzes. On the Makadesh below Shidduchi, and if you Makadesh without Shidduchi, meaning you have to have some conversation, some dating or whatever it is. Mavatal Gita, and somebody who's Mavatal Get, right? Meaning that's somebody who sent his shliach to bring a get to the wife, and then he calls him back. Or somebody who's Meiser Maida, he lets everybody know that he was forced to give this get. So it's going to sort of people are going to be nervous to marry this woman because the husband maybe didn't really want to give this get. And anybody who's Mitzar Shliach the Rabbanon, Meaning if Bezdin sends out a shliach, so and you're causing him stress, Valdechala, Shamsi, Lavi Dilasan Yamin is somebody who's in Chayrim for more than 30 days. Because somebody who's put into Chayrim is meant to improve him. And he's a holdout. He hasn't improved, so they didn't take off his Chayrim. So he's in Chayrim more than 30 days. That means he's really not behaving himself. And then the interesting one about Chasna, the Dair Beit Hamur, and a son-in-law who lives in his father-in-law's house. Right, so that's not allowed. Why? Because it says that a mother-in-law has feelings for a son-in-law. So Mamela, if he's going to hang out in the house, that can cause problems. So Gemara asked, the Dair in Cholif Loi, you're saying only to live together, but not to walk. Only the chassan can't live in the house, but to walk by is not a problem. There was the son-in-law who walked by his in-laws' house, but Nagdir of Shezer gave him Malchus. So you see that even walking by your in-laws' house is an issue. So our answers are who made them have a diamond chamse. There,
they invite you over, you should say no.
According to this, yes,
took the words right out of my mouth.
Yes, according to this Gemara, once the daughter gets married, you're out. She's out. The son-in-law is not allowed to be with the mother-in-law.
What about when they have a baby and they move in for 2 weeks?
Yeah. So what about Yom Tif? Right. So what do you do with this? We'll get back to that in a second. But anyways, the Gemara.
Yaakov.
Yeah.
Rameir Warshaw told me we learned this here. He says when he in his next Gilgul, he wants to come back as one of his wife's son-in-laws. He says because these guys get treated totally royally. He wants that's what he wants to come back as. Yeah.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah. Yeah. But okay, so meaning this guy, okay, Rav Rashi gave this guy Malchus for walking by because there was already a relationship going on there between the mother-in-law and the son-in-law. Okay, so what do we do with nowadays?
Yeah.
What?
Why do we ask him like that?
In here. What are you saying?
Why do we not ask him like Rav today?
Why don't we? We don't.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Why not? Who's fighting?
Oh, so look at Taisus, right? I'm sorry. Two more lines first, then Taisus. Now, Doyamri, Bekulu Loiman get Rav El the Makadosh be a Beloshituchi. But all these things, Rav didn't give Malchus only under Makadosh B'Biyah without Shidduchim. Meaning, he didn't give Malchus on these other things. Even if he had Shidduchim, if you're Makadosh B'Biyah, then that's Pritzos. So like we said already why that's Pritzos. So now, Taisus says that we're relying on the Nahar Dai, that Rav did not give Malchus on sons-in-law living in mother-in-law's house. And then he brings Taisus Bekulu brings that the sons-in-law Adarav, they moved into the houses so that they could save money for a long time. And so Mamela, why they're doing it? Because he says it's obvious that the reason why they're doing it is not because there's something going on between the mother-in-law and the daughter, the mother-in-law and the son-in-law. It's just because it's obvious that they're doing it to save money. One of the other Rishonim, I think, says, I don't know if it's Rishonim, somebody says that nowadays, this for whatever reason, that taiva is not it's not negaya nowadays. That's what they say. But the question is, would that work without the Nahar Dai, their version of it? Right? Okay, one more little Gemara. Well, it's actually a long Gemara, but let's just start. Who gathered the Kaddish B'tzipsa Da'asa? There was a guy who was Mekadesh with a thing of Hadas. Amrulei, B'hales B'shav Huda. He told him, that's not a Shav Huda. How could you be married here? Amrulehus, he told them, Tikdish Ba'ar B'zuzi de Ispa. The hidden inside the Hadah is 4 zuzim. The Shakulsa, the Ishtika. So she took it, and then she was quiet. So basically, she got a hadas. He said, "Areya Mekudeshisi." He took it, right? Then they said to him, "Hey, there's no Shavapruta here." So then they said, "No, I hid inside the hadas some money." So then she took it, but she was quiet. She didn't say, "I do." Is that what they say? I do. Yeah. Right. So Omer Rabba Havishikusa the Lachar Matan Mois. This is considered somebody who's quiet after the money was given. And anytime a woman is quiet after money is given to her is nothing. Right? Meaning that does not show that she admits that she wants to get married to this guy. Amar Rav, the Tanya, Amar Rav, Kansi Sela. Okay, yeah, let's stop here. We'll take it up to tomorrow night, Bez Hashem.
See, Yaakov, based on the fact that you don't believe the lady when she says her kids are mamzerim. So if I call one of my friends a mamzer, what do I have to ask him mechila before Rosh Hashanah? Nobody believes he's a mamzer. If you don't believe the mother, why would you believe me that the guy's a mamzer?
I hear. Maybe you're just asking mechila because I don't think anybody. You have to ask mechila because you think that you just calls him tsar, no?
You saying he's a mamzer because you really think he's a mamzer, or you just calling him a
No,
name?
I just called him that.
Right, so you called him a mamzer. Then you did. It's not a nice thing.
No, it's not a nice. It's a nice thing, but why should anybody believe
yeah, nobody
it?
And
You don't
nobody
believe
does
the mother.
believe
You don't
you.
believe the mother, so why would you believe me?
You're right. We're not going to believe you. We're not going to believe you. I hope you're not offended, but we're not going to believe you.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
It's good in halakha, man. Not svarim. The Shulchan Aruch brings it. By no svarim, you're not allowed to call anyone a nickname. It's us. This is the rights. He says, except mamzer, because no one's going to believe you.
Okay, Gingy. No more nicknames, Gingy.
Okay. Except for mamzer, because no one's going to believe you.
Right, nobody talk to believe. Right? I don't think it's
That's what he says.
Yeah. Anyways, all right.
Shakaya.
Fine.
You said a chuppah story with Moshe. That's nothing to do with this, but there's another great chuppah story with Chaim Kreisler. Gershon would enjoy this. Reichman was making a wedding. I don't know, many years ago. The wealthy Reichman. And he went to Reb Chaim Kreisler and asked him, "There's two brachas that you split. You don't split. You give it to one person. You give it to two people, right? Two brachas or something. The first two, I think. So Reb Chaim told him to give it. Reb Chaim told him to give it to two people. So then under the chuppah, they were about to call for the second person, and Reb Chaim stopped him and said under the chuppah to give it to the same person. So after the chuppah, Reichman went over to him and said, "I don't understand. I asked you before, you said to give it to two." He said, "I know." He said, "Now you have 50 Rosh Yeshivas that think that they were going to get that bracha. You were mechabed 50 Rosh Yeshivas, you're not giving anyone a bracha."
There you go.
I thought you would appreciate that. I figured Gershon would appreciate something like that also.
Okay.
100%.
You should call Avram Monchik up and tell it to Avram.
I wonder if he knows it.
He might know it already.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. Have a good Shabbos.
Have a good Shabbos. I have a lot of stories.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
No, I was going to tell him I have a lot. I knew Reb Chaim very well. His apartment in Eretz Yisrael was next door to Eli Lowenger. We became very close. I was there a lot. That's all. So that's not the only story. There's a lot.
All right. Fine.
I used to drive him around a little bit. All right.
Okay.
Good Shabbos. Bye-bye.
Shabbos.